Joined alongside by the director of the Nevada State Athletic Commission, Kizer. Keith, welcome.
Thank you.
UFC 100, what an amazing weekend. Las Vegas, Nevada, could it not get any better?
This is great. You know, we've had so many big fights in Las Vegas. We've been lucky with the hotel industry here, bringing those big fights in and working with the promoters. And this is definitely one of those fight cards where it even goes beyond big. It's something where the buzz starts. It doesn't start on a Thursday or a Friday of the card. It starts 2 weeks ago. And it's something probably akin to a De La Hoya Trinidad fight or a De La Hoya Mayweather fight in boxing. In MMA, this might be the biggest buzz we've ever had for an MMA card.
It is unbelievable at how many thousands of people are converging upon Las Vegas. I mean, the FedEx Bowl is truly something special. This event has really proven to the entire world that MMA has officially arrived, because before it was in the public consciousness and the UFC was doing a phenomenal job of marketing it, but this event sort of symbolizes the official arrival, and they look forward to the future that's coming up in the sport of mixed martial arts, and you've been a big part of it.
Yes, I think it definitely has gotten over that very last hump. You know, the last few years it's moved up, but now to the stage where you can't, there's no longer the question, well, when is this going to go mainstream as far as media coverage, as far as press coverage? It's there. It was there before, but now it's the front page. It's not even page 2 or 3. It's the front page. 5-6 years ago, it wasn't in any of the pages. So this is great, especially for these athletes. They work hard going up through the ranks, and to have an outlet now where they can practice their craft and make money at it is a great thing.
Can you tell me about the work you do alongside Dana White? Because there are constant regulations going on, and you guys are constantly renovating things and ratifying things in the commission for the sport of mixed martial arts. But tell me about your involvement directly along with Dana White, because both you guys have been working very hard to make sure that MMA is a legitimate sport and doing what they're doing, which is why we are here for UFC 100.
Sure. Well, with any MMA promoter, what usually happens is they ask us for a date. The commission, there's 5 members of our commission, they would approve that date. And then the staff, especially, not so much me, but the staff at the office, they'll start getting in the fighters, the proposed card, get the medicals. That's the most important thing. Make sure all the medicals are in and they're positive. There's no problems with them. If there is, we'll send them for a specialist or something along those lines. And then we also get their fight records. I'll approve the matchups. I'll assign the officials for the fight. The staff will make sure that the weigh-in is set up, that the arrival times for the fight are set up, the scorecards, all those things. So there's a lot of paperwork to be done. In fact, fight night is our least busy time. It's the weeks before the fight where we're really working very hard, and hopefully by fight night things are very smooth and we can keep the score and do whatever else needs to be done, take the drug tests and things like that. But it's a really long process, but it works.
Now, Keith, you were working under, and now are the executive director of the Nevada State Athletic Commission, but under Mark Ratner, who is a legend all to himself.
Yes.
Tell me about how much you learned under Mark. Mark is now with the UFC, obviously, but how much did you learn under Mark, and obviously the lessons that he was able to teach you?
Well, I was lucky enough to be his attorney for about 8 years before I became the executive director. And it's funny, when I took over for him, a lot of people said, wow, big shoes to fill. And I said, definitely, but who else would you want to follow after? To go into that office where everything was running smoothly, you had 4 employees who stayed, who just very knowledgeable, very skilled in themselves, and to have learned from Mark over those years was a great thing. There were still a lot of things that I wasn't involved with, the more administrative side, that I've had to learn and hopefully have learned over the last 3 years. But it was perfect. It was a perfect situation, and I can't imagine wanting to work anywhere other than Nevada when it comes to mixed martial arts.
How does somebody from Portage, Indiana, get to Las Vegas? I mean, we were talking before we got on the air, but you are from Portage. Yes. We originally from the region as well. But what is it like going from Portage, Indiana, to now the bright lights of the Las Vegas Strip?
Well, the main reason was the weather. I was sick of the winters out there in the Midwest. I'm a runner. So I wanted to go somewhere where I could run all year long and enjoy it and get out of the cold. But for the most part, it's I still enjoy going back to Portage from time to time in the Chicagoland area. But yeah, Vegas is quite a unique place to be in. It's a great place to live.
Final question, where do you foresee the sport of mixed martial arts and the UFC? Because the UFC, to me, seems like a train, and they're not stopping. They are just continuing to pick up speed.
I think the fact, and I know Dana White's mentioned this several times, the international expansion. I think they've already done like 9 shows outside the United States. I know they tried to brought football over there or soccer over here. The problem is those are team sports, and there's so many different rules, and you got to look at different parts of the field and what people are doing, why they're doing this, why they're not doing that. Hockey really hasn't made a huge impact in the United States as they thought because of the blue line and rules like that. But in MMA, just like in boxing, it's pretty easy to follow it, pretty easy to learn the sport from a spectator's point of view. And I think because of that, I can't imagine that this not being as big as boxing worldwide. It's just a sport that's bound to keep growing, not just in America, but throughout the world.
Keith, greatly appreciate your time. Thanks so much. I won't ask you for predictions because it seems that you are right down the middle because you can't take a side, but greatly appreciate it. Enjoy the fights this Saturday.
Thank you very much.